So for the colleagues who are joining this webinar live right now, thank you for taking your time. It shows that you are taking your personal time to join this webinar. And for people who are checking this recording, hello, and I would love to catch up with you one day in person. So without further ado, so a quick welcome to our webinar between me and Joseph, and a very high level overview. This session has been recorded, and if you want to get a copy of the recording and the deck as well, drop us a note at hello@Leadership Tribe, and we'll be more than happy to share this with you. And a quick overview, looking at the from symptoms to systems, what does it mean, and how do we even integrate this into a toolkit? We have an amazing example, a case study from our colleague Joseph, and a personal tool which I use, and it's been helping various other leaders to use it for your so that will help you with you personally, and how you can use it for your professional life. There's something like a small tool, an experiment which we have for you. So something which you can try with your journey, and something to experiment as well. So a bit about me. My name is Krishna Chodipilli. I'm an in-house alchemist as well as a client service director, which gives me the opportunity to work with amazing experts from various backgrounds, some of them from professors, armed forces, directors, and various experts, working with them for a client problem towards a solution. And how do we come from a problem to a solution? That's what we work towards. And which also brings me to my colleague, Joseph Arokia, an amazing cook and a great friend. And you will get to know him a little bit more as we go through the journey. So without further ado, I would love to a quick short note from our sponsor of this webinar as well. This is the company called Leadership Tribe, who pays my bills, and one of those amazing company to work with. These are some of the services they do. It's not only with their transformation workshops, coaching, mentoring, but also helping the organizations move from point A to point B, uh, using various engineering tools to integrate to help them to deliver value what matters to them. So this is about Leadership Tribe. And this brings us to this topic, what we are here for. The topic on from symptoms to systems. So before we jump into this topic, I have a small question for you. So which statement resonates with you? Which statement resonates with you? Uh, First one, best solutions emerge from deep empathy and rapid iterations. That's option one. Option two, understanding the bigger picture leads to lasting and sustainable change. These are the two options we have. Which statement resonates with you? You can type your answers in the chat window as option A or option B. Remember, both these options have its unique value. But what is your statement which resonates with you? All right, we got few answers in LinkedIn, few from the chat window. Okay, we getting answers as option B. A few from option A as well. Fantastic. Both the options are brilliant. But let's have a look at this perspective. When we look at systems, to understand systems, let's look at the planetary systems or family as a unit, family as a system. And within family systems, you got hierarchies, rules, responsibilities, uh, and these there are different types of hierarchies, rules. And one of the role I had as a child when guests came down was give them a glass of water first thing when they come in. This is one of the roles I had. And I want you to look at your organizations, the organizations where we work with. Are there roles, responsibilities, hierarchies within that system? And if you dig deeper into the systems, there are multiple subsystems working together within your family or within your organizations towards a common goal, a purpose, That helps us to build communities within your organizations, helps us to deliver value, whatever we are doing. These are multiple systems working together. When they're working together, the way we look at them, the way we think about these systems is quite different, because they are, as they are systems, as they're integrating, working together, you see, you see these events which happen most of the time, these markets, changing markets. Something happens externally to your business organizations or to your family. These events which happen, COVID happened. That's an example, a bad example, but an interesting one. When these events are happening, some of them are occasional, some of them are seasonal, some of them are surprising, like COVID. And when we are collecting, these events are happening, and when we are collecting all these events, one could even find the patterns or trends which are causing these events to happen. One of the examples was Krishna gets naughty on his birthday. He wants to show off that he is 1 year older than the one before. From the age of 12 to 13, what does Krishna do? Steals his dad's motorbike keys and gets four of my friends on a motorbike, just to go around to show off how awesome, amazing, sexy he was, because Krishna just turned 13. That was my pattern. Every birthday, something surprising. So when we dig deeper, these patterns happen. When we dig deeper, one could even understand what is causing these patterns to happen, the underlying structures, the underlying relationships between these patterns. So that can help us to understand how these patterns are appearing. It's not only that, but digging deeper, one would understand the values, the assumptions, what people had when they put these structures in. Think of your organization structures. From how long these structures existed, when was this structure created? And these structures are created for a problem which existed in the past. As the markets are changing and adapting, how quickly, how do we adapt this? So it's not only that. When we're digging into the mental models, I also experience my inner assumptions during COVID. My pain, my inner noise tend to become louder and louder. These are appearing, so from the events to my inner thoughts. How can it be possible? This is what I have seen in my personal life. But how does it apply for an organization? For this, I would love to invite my colleague, Joseph. Joseph, over to you, buddy.
Thank you, Krishna. And I loved your perspective and the examples that you brought in, something that we all can relate to, family or your planetary system. And also talking about the events, the patterns, and the underlying structures, because that's what helped me personally in understanding the problem before I jump, to any solution. So this reminds me of one of the clients that I got to work with, we got to work with. And there were this startup into renewable energy, and they had noticed this problem: high employee turnover. Now, like any other company, they also did jump into providing quick solutions, like throwing in money towards solving that problem. It was uh, making the compensation and the benefits better for the employees. Did that work? Yes, of course, it did work, because they were able to find a temporary solution, delay the inevitable. In this process, the client learned something. They understood the current state, and that also helped them to dig deeper, do a lot of analysis, where they were able to understand the different sub entities within the system that contribute to employee engagement, employee satisfaction. Like you have your employee engagement, you have your manager training, you also have your learning and development teams. So, how can they bring all of these elements together so that they could work towards the actual problem of employee high turnover? And they found a new perspective here. Doing all of this analysis, stitching all of these elements together, they could see wonderful results. And the results were there to be seen. 30% less turnover, 24% more productivity, and there was innovation boom. That was it didn't stop there. They also noticed that they could bring in elements like diversity and systems insight. They could stitch these elements together and work towards not just one team, but all of the teams progressing towards the organization's goals. And we also found out that there are different strategies where we can use systems thinking, like able to identify the interdependencies of these different sub-entities that work together, being able to embrace feedback loops and course correct immediately. Also, nurturing cross-functional communication between each teams, building capacity for a change. When any change happens, how prepared are the employees, are my teams to embrace that change? There was peer mentoring, training where managers got involved, and there was experiment and learning there. So we were not scared to fail because we knew that when we fail quickly, we can learn quickly. And with all of this, we also noticed a couple of things that changed within the organization. One was employee empowering ownership. So, not just owning the risks, but also owning the successes that they work towards. They nurtured connections, and as an organization, there was investment in not just working towards the organization goal, but also investing in the well-being of the employees. There was investment in connections. There was learning and growth. And at the end, we could notice that employees were able to celebrate that independence and success together as a team. Now, that brings me to my question. So, as a leader, where do I begin from? Where do I start my journey? Krishna, what are your thoughts?
Thank you, Joseph. So one of the things which I do love, at Joseph, are you sharing your screen? Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, man. So, which brings us to the next steps. One of the things which works in building up the toolkit is getting trained. There are various organizations out there. I would recommend you to invest your time in learning about what is system thinking, what are the tools within system thinking. There are various information loops which we can use to help you to bring up to speed and change. Getting that awareness is one step. And not only getting the awareness is also how do you look addressing at the entire system end to end, and how do you fine tune it to improve the value throughout the system is the fun part. And for this, there are some various training programs out there. I would recommend you to go and check them out. So one of the things which has been done by our sponsor is the upcoming training programs like the product ownership, which is happening on 12th of February. Check it out. And the next one is about system coaching. And do mark your dates because this will be, I will be seeing you on this in that class on 26th of February if you're coming down for the system coaching. So one personal tool which I personally use and work and I educate, and it's been incredible with helping my mentees to improve the game. This is from this book, and this is from this professor, Steve Peters. The another interesting thing which I've observed in me is, have you observed that some days you are in complete control, making decisions, while on others, emotions seem to take control of your direction. It can be clouding your judgment. It can be around flight, freeze, or flight. So this is what I've observed is like two of me. One of me feels in control. The other of me feels meh. So if you had those observations personally, type yes in the chat window, please. If it's a yes, we got a simple tool which you can experiment from today. So this brings this brings me to Dr. Steve Peters. He is a distinguished British psychiatrist who significantly contributed to the sports psychology and psychiatry. He's best known for his development in mind management model called the chimp model, and for authoring the famous book called the chimp paradox, which has helped countless individuals to understand and manage their emotions, thoughts, and behaviors, and more effectively themselves. It's when I say countless individuals, Krishna is one of them. So let's have a look. What does he talk about it? To paraphrase Dr. C. Peters, um, he talks about three systems. One is the human system. This is what I've observed. On a good days, I see that the human system in me is often in control, navigating life with reason, and there is logic involved. It's making understanding what is happening on the ground, and at times dipping into the unconscious and understand what is happening. Yes, that's the human logical system. And on tough days, the chip or the inner critic who can take over leading with an emotion. An emotion can be, I want it now. There's so much anxiety, I can't handle it. That can be one of them. And on either day, on a good day or a bad day, there is the system, the computer system in you, which runs in the background. It's like brushing, your daily activities, scratching, going to the toilet. It's exactly like an autopilot, the system which runs in the background. And the interesting part is recognizing who's in charge is the first step towards having better days moving forward. So for this, there's a small tool. It's a very small tool. It's a tool it's a tool called journaling. It only takes 10 minutes anytime during the day, before you go to bed or sometime in the evening when you're having a cup of coffee or a tea, when you're relaxing. Just sit down with your pen and paper and write down the thoughts you had for the day. Not more than 10 minutes. That's it. So when you're collecting these thoughts over a period of 21 days, what happens? So this brings us back to this lovely, interesting topic. When you're collecting this data, all these thoughts you're collecting, what we've been happening, the more you collect and you're looking back at this data, one can look and understand the patterns of these thoughts. What trends that you can see over a period of time. And in my data, I have seen some interesting ones. If I go out for a night out the day before, I'm a little bit more negative thoughts than automatic negative thoughts tend to happen the next day. If I haven't slept properly, I have seen the way and I play the game is completely different. My thoughts have been different. So understanding these trends can help us to change the way we play the game. It's not only that. If you can dig deeper, what is impacting and influencing these patterns? And it's not only that, it's also understanding the structures and the assumptions and the beliefs and the values we have causing those structures and those patterns and the events to appear. This is something of a personal tool which you can use personally. And for the organization, yes, we need to look at the bigger picture. And for understanding system thinking, it starts from you. Test it out, try it. And I would love to hear your experiences, your reflections, your thoughts. And if you want to learn more about it, all you want to do is book a meeting with me and find out if you have this data, gather all the information, book a session with me. And all you need to do is drop a note to hello at Leadership Tribe, and we'll be more than happy to catch up with you. So this brings us towards the end of the topic. So if I can stop sharing my screen. And on that note, lovely colleagues, it was a pleasure talking to you. And we also like to take a minute to take some questions. If you have any questions, please do drop them in the chat window. And we'll be more than happy to look at them and see if we can get this. Okay. One question in the chat window. Why does it need to be only 20 days of journaling? Okay, 20 days, 21 days. It's the minimum days you need to collect some data. So if you're able to get it in 10 days and see something that could help you, get you some meaningful, go for it. So, and doing it not more than 10 minutes. If I try more than 10 minutes, it gets boring and I don't want to do it anymore. That's something which I've observed it personally. That's something I would like you to try and get back to me with your results. So on that note, I would love to say thank you for taking your time to spend with me and my Joseph on this lovely day, Thursday. And if we don't happen to see you this weekend or hear from you, have a lovely weekend and see you all next week.
See you all.
Ta-ta. Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you.